Number 10, Tyler Conger. Number 12, Frank Wooten. Number 13, Joel Wooten. Number 15, Michael Spear. Number 16, Russell Snow. Number 18, Greg Swanson. Number 19, Mark Poole. Number 22, Nick Lance. Number 36, Nikki Spiva. Number 64, Jason Simpson. And number 98, Jonathan Monforti. Chain Lightning is captained by Russell Snow and Mark Poole. And apparently doesn't have a coach. And now, from Johnny Bravo. Number 0, Joseph Durst. Number 2, Randy Riggles. Number 3, Jesse Rome. Number 4, Andrew Mangan. Number 5, Jack McShane. Number 7, Ethan Gillette. Number 8, Austin Gregerson. Number 9, Parker Krug. Number 12, Tim Morrissey. Number 13, Josh Anderson. Number 14, Craig Forshee. Number 15, Jeff Cohey. Number 17, David Belsheim. Number 20, Joshua Ackley. Number 21, Evan Paget. Number 22, Timmy Beatty. Number 23, Jimmy Mickle. Number 24, Jackson Kluwer. Number 25, Justin Salvia. Number 26, Owen Westbrook. Number 28, Hilke Snyder. Number 30, Clark Bishop. Number 32, Henry Conker. Number 56, Jake Juzak. And number 77, Joe Kirshner. Johnny Bravo is captained by Ryan Farrell and Joshua Ackley and Jack McShane. Their coach is Bob Cryer. Give them all a big round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen. Observing today's game, Andrew Biermeyer, Dave Swedler, Paul Klingler, and Sam Wood.
It's not a problem. I just keep leaning back and like hitting your arm. You trying to do something here, Rhea? You trying something?
You would know.
No, Pumbaa would know that too. They faced them in the first round. They faced them in the first round.
And what was the score?
I don't know, but Bravo crushed. I mean, Bravo won by a lot. do my best, but I'll be a little distracted. No problem. All right. I kind of want to soda.
And welcome to Colorado Springs, Colorado for the final of the Open Division. We're about to watch Chain Lightning from Atlanta, Georgia, facing off in red, Johnny Bravo. My name is Mario O'Brien. I'm here with Maya Ziv. Maya, it's going to be a good one today.
I'm really excited. I've been watching Johnny Bravo throughout this tournament. They have been playing absolutely phenomenally. Excellent offensive flow, great energy on defense. It's going to be a good matchup.
Lots of firepower, lots of star power on this field today. Players to watch for Chain Lightning. They've got recent Callahan winner Nick Lance. He's number 22. He's going to be coming out on this first D point for Chain. And on the other side for Johnny Bravo, the heart and soul of this Colorado team, Josh Ackley. He's one of the most tenacious players in the club division. Watch him to be making plays all day.
Bravo starting off on offense. Big pull going up. Krug with the disc. Around to Mickle. Looks like there's a foul called on the field.
Fun matchup. This is Spiva for Chain against Mickle for Bravo. Both these two guys played on the Next Gen Tour last year as teammates, and here they are facing off each other in the finals.
Big blade brought down by Westbrook. Back to Westbrook on the swing. Ream. Big layout's gonna be a turn. Chain looking deep right away. Shoots one deep. That one's gonna float just too far. Intended receiver Andrew Hollingsworth.
Hollingsworth actually pulled off his cut. Nick Lance thought he was going to extend that cut into the end zone. Bit of a miscommunication there. Unfortunate turnover for Chain.
Krug will pick up for Bravo.
Parker Krug has been one of the staples along with Ackley over the past few years for Bravo. He can really do it all.
Nice cut from Bishop there. Looks back around to Krug. Swings to Paget. Nice getting around there for Paget. Big huck from Ackley. And Bravo brings down their first score with that huck to Clark Bishop. Scores 1-0. Johnny Bravo over Chain Lightning.
And that was Ackley with the assist. Set up by a break throw. Ackley sees his receiver running deep, throws the beautiful flat inside out forehand over Joel Wooten for the goal. Now, these teams met in the opening round of the tournament, and the advantage was clearly to Johnny Bravo in that game. I talked to the Chain captains a bit before the game. They told us, that first game we were adjusting to the conditions, the thinner air here, making the throws a bit different than they are in the muggy heat of Atlanta. And Chain has really come on late here in the tournament, pulling out the games that mattered. They were victorious in their semifinal. And here they are, talking to captains, to Captain Mark Poole before the game, they say they're ready. They're not really looking to change a lot. They just felt like they didn't execute in the first matchup.
We got our replay really dialed in, so if you see a good play and safe here, you can do this.
Johnny Bravo's D-line on the field. Nick Lance with the disc for Chain. Big huck from Lance. Going deep to Ben Spears, but that one will go out of bounds.
And these are two very uncharacteristic turnovers early from Nick Lance. He's one of the most dynamic throwers in the game. Not necessarily known for his hucks, but for his ability to break the mark, throw scoobers over the top, and just hit open receivers. Very surprising that he comes out and throws two bombs out of bounds to open the game for Chain.
And now we get to see the Johnny Bravo D-line on offense here. This is where their team has really excelled. Big huck going deep right away. Lots of contact there. It's Hilke Sneeder, the intended receiver. No foul. Chain on the run again. Jay Clark. Big huck from Swanson. Nice layout attempt there.
That was
be able to convert.
That was Poole not able to come up with the huck. Swanson with the huck. And this is the Chain game that we've come to expect over the past few years. They're like a basketball team that likes to shoot threes. When they're on, they're almost impossible to stop. But no matter what the score, they're going to keep putting it up. And in this case, it's led to a couple early turnovers.
Sneeder streaking deep once more. Can he bring this one down? And he does. Over a diving Spiva.
And that's Hilke Sneeder. Played for Sockeye last year, actually just got into med school, and he'll be playing with Johnny Bravo this year along with his brother Hidde Sneeder. Both of them Mama Bird alums, providing a huge increase in athleticism and physicality. Talk to any guys in the Northwest from last year, they'll tell you that Sneeder was one of the best downfield defenders in the Northwest region last year.
Score is 2-0, Johnny Bravo over Chain.
Both teams known for their physicality and their tough man-to-man defense. We might see a few times this game, we see both teams throw a bit of junk just to disrupt the initial flow, but mostly we're going to see matchups man-to-man all day.
Big pull from Jake Juzak. Lance streaking deep early. Juzak drops to cover him. Lance with feet ahead of him lays out for the grab. Observer will call it out.
That's an incredible play by Nick Lance. Unfortunately, just a bit out the back of the end zone. And here we see the Colorado air coming into play. It just adds a little bit of length to each throw. And that one is just out the back of the end zone.
Clore with that grab there. Nice dishing here from Bravo. Another big huck deep. Juzak will bring that down just outside the end zone. Easy dish throw to Jeff Cohey for another break for Bravo. Scores 3-0.
This matchup definitely favors Johnny Bravo. Both teams known for their physicality and for their hucking and deep game as well. But this is basically home turf for Johnny Bravo. They're used to the air, they're used to the conditions, and they're just playing better. They're executing more effectively than Chain right now. Jimmy Mickle set to pull for Bravo. Will be playing the Next Gen Tour again this year. Also known for his epic pulling ability. One of the best pullers in the club or college game.
High OI pull from Mickle there. Gives Bravo's D-line plenty of time to get down. Spear with the disc. Durst on the mark for Bravo.
Here we go, Chain. Work, Chain.
Watching Chain, we're going to see almost all vertical offense. They love to create that space, create those lanes, and especially love to huck when they get the disc to the break side.
140 with the disc. Call on the field.
The Bravo sideline definitely making their presence felt here early.
Spear putting one deep. Intended receiver is not going to get that. It looks like Juzek tried to make a D, but Spears will pick it up for Chain. Getting on the board, scores 3-1, Bravo over Chain.
Yeah, that was actually intended for Joel Wooten, the main deep target for Chain. Fortunately for Chain, they're able to come up with the grab. It's also important to consider for Chain who they don't have at this tournament. They only brought 15 guys, and specifically, they didn't bring some of their marquee players. You're talking about Sammy C.K., Dylan Tennell, Asa Wilson, and Jolien Dahl. All of those guys not able to make it to this tournament. And those guys totally changed the game when it comes to the Chain offense and defense.
Go, guys. Make it easy.
Knowing that those guys aren't here, I think you still have to feel good if you're Chain, no matter what the result of this game is. Knowing that you can get to the finals of a top-level tournament without 4 of your stars, you got to be feeling good about that.
140 to pull. Ackley. Travel will be called on Ackley's throw. Looks like he was really trying to reach around his mark there.
Bravo, so far on both of their O points, they've come out in a side stack, which isolates a lot of space on one side of the field. First play, they isolated Mickle and were able to hit him. That time, Mickle was actually just the decoy for the first cut coming out of the stack.
Byron Liu on the mark. Disc comes in at 0. Around break. Gillett putting up a floaty one to that sideline. Observer will call it out.
Spiva got a piece of that disc and actually caused it to float out of bounds.
Conger, 140. Putting up one deep. Just too far for Archibald.
And Chain, every possession so far has been a huck.
Strong home, Bravo. Strong home. Strong home. Come back, Evan. Come under.
Mickle up the line. Doesn't have a continue. Looking around. Miscommunication. That'll be a turnover. Picking it up for Chain. We've got Spiva, who will actually walk away from the disc.
And that's a good decision. He didn't have an open receiver. If you're going to pick up that disc, you absolutely need to have a first pass wide open. Otherwise, just leave it, let your offense set up.
Conger immediately swinging it around again to Spiva.
Hey, Spiva, let's get a play. Let's get a play.
Spiva on the far sideline. Another call on the field.
Here again, we see the Spiva versus Mickle matchup.
Round throw from Spiva for the give and go. 1-4 looks it off. Inside break instead. Lou in the end zone. Score is 3-2. Bravo over Chain.
And most of the time, if you're forcing forehand on a right-handed player, that is a really, really difficult throw. They're not going to be able to put as much touch on it. Fortunately for Chain, the left-handed handler, that throw becomes much easier. You can put a little bit of touch on this low inside-out backhand. The defense has absolutely no chance. And Chain reels in another goal. That's Lance setting up for the pull.
Here we go, Jay. Go, Bravo!
Big pull from Lance is going to float.
Yeah, Russ.
The back of the end zone.
0.
Chain's already down on D. Sneeder streaking. Dish out. To Reem. Looks like there was a pick involved on that throw.
Josh Ackley is doing whatever he wants with the disc. He's currently set up for the dump. Here he is with the disc. He's broken the mark twice. There's another break. He threw the first goal of the game on a huck. And there it is, another break mark goal for Johnny Bravo, and that was easy.
Yeah, the Bravo throwers are really just breaking marks left and right. Chain has got to pick up their intensity on the marks if they're going to stop those throws. It looked way too easy for those tall Bravo guys to get around.
Well, and they're breaking them around and on the inside-outside. You had Ackley break one with an inside-out backhand, and then these last two were outside-in forehands. That's what breaking the mark does for you. If you're able to do it both ways effectively, it makes it impossible to know what you should be trying to take away as the mark.
Go, Dick.
Big pull from Gregerson. Clark with the disc. Lance towing the line is Ben Spears, putting one into the end zone. Big jump. Juzak brings down the D for Bravo.
They're moving early.
Spiva trying to pick up the trash there for Chain. Lance almost on a run through tap there.
Not up, come on. Got take. Yeah, work, Austin. Right through the middle.
Shane.
Yes, Jay.
Run through layout D by Jay Clark. Spiva picks up the disc. As Lance open on the open side. Lance with the hammer. Jay Clark reeling in another. Score is 4-3 Bravo over Chain Lightning.
Jay Clark coming up huge with the D. A little bit of poor fundamentals not running through the disc there for Bravo. But Chain capitalizes. That was Nick Lance with the casual hammer across the field. No big deal to his buddy for the goal.
Nick Lance has been huge for Chain this game so far. We'll see if he can keep it up. We've said already they have a short roster here. They don't look tired quite yet, but this is a very intense game that they're playing here, especially when they're on offense. The Johnny Bravo D-line is absolutely fantastic, very physical. They're going to make it really hard for Chain to get open easily.
Joel Wooten, number 13, out there in front giving orders to the Chain D-line. He's really been one of the foundations of Chain success over the past few years. I think people know him because he's tall, but he's also one of the fastest guys in Ultimate.
Inside throw to Mickle. Floaty throw up to Ream. Nice low continuation to Mickle. Easy point in the front of the end zone there. That was Westbrook with the grab. Johnny Bravo making these breakthroughs look too easy.
You know, and to me right now it's as simple as making adjustment on your mark. This is all these breaks have been on a backhand mark. That makes it the backhand IO break is the easiest break throw in the game. You can put touch on it. You can float it out to space. Your release point is always away from your body. And if you force forehand, it totally changes the type of break throws that you have to throw.
Like that hammer too.
Gregerson getting set to pull for Bravo. Already some familiar faces on this D-line. We've got Juzak and Sneeder. Ready to make some big plays for this Bravo D-line. Nice pull to the end zone. Lance will bring it in. Sorry, that's Spiva. Now Nick Lance putting one deep. And that's Captain Mark Poole with a fantastic layout for Chain Lightning.
Huge ball from Nick Lance. Poole leading the way, coming up huge in the end zone. And this is an absolutely monster shot from Nick Lance. Watch Poole fully extend, flips it over, takes the contact on his chest. Excellent fundamentals on the layout by Poole. Excellent concentration. Chain reduces the lead to just 1. 5-4 Johnny Bravo. Mark Poole, a member of the 2011 beach team that won gold in Italy.
$140 with the pull. Krug.
And here we see some junk from Chain, trying to just disrupt the flow of Bravo. I like the adjustment here. Hopefully they can transition here into a man before Bravo can break it. And here is the transition to man defense.
Just back out to Krug. Ream wide open. Over the top. Mickle in the middle of the field. Ackley. Diving Ream. Can't grab that one. 140 picks it up, ready to go. Lots of physicality on the field. Will be a call. Looks like the disc will come in at 0. Finding Wooten around. Back to 140. Good reset there. Big huck deep. Can they do it again? And Andrew Mangan. Sorry, that was Ryan Archibald with the grab for Chain Lightning. A little bit of a comeback here for Chain, Rio.
Yeah, Chain's looking good. I mean, just like I said before, they're not afraid to just keep bombing it. And and it leads to easy, exciting goals, which fires your teams up.
It also leads to some relatively quick points, and we've talked about their short roster. Bring that up just one more time. The faster you can transition these points, the faster you can get some fresh legs on the field, and even just a few minutes of rest can mean all the world to a line of guys.
Here we go. Over the beginning. Exactly what we want.
It's heating up out here in Colorado Springs, the weather that has been so temperamental all weekend. We've had some lightning delays, had some hail last night. It's a nice, warm, windless day.
Yeah, and weather certainly has been the issue this weekend. We had the location of the tournament changed because of the wildfires in the area. On Friday, we had some rain that pushed some games to Saturday. On Saturday, we had some lightning that pushed the semis to this morning. And we're really looking out here with the weather. It is a beautiful day in Colorado Springs. We're at about 75 degrees. A little breeze blowing from blowing left to right across your screen.
Inside, Russell, inside. Fine, Jesse. There we go. That's great work. Mark, what are you doing?
Ream looking for Westbrook. Bravo handler's doing a great job swinging it around, creating these multiple opportunities in the middle of the field. Little hammer over to Ream. Up to Sneeder. Low throw to Ream. Sneeder looks for the dish. And Krug with the disc. Sneeder. Bravo advancing to their end zone. And a hammer goes up.
Bravo looks awesome. They're taking advantage of every little angle that Shane gives them with their offense. They're breaking the mark every time it's available. They're throwing over the top with their hammers to wide open cutters. And the chain defense just looks like they have no idea what they should be covering. If you're breaking the mark, it's like, well, how can I rely on my mark? I can't if they're breaking it every single time, and then they end up open on the open side. Johnny Bravo just playing excellent, fundamental, smart ultimate.
Juzak getting set to pull. That pull's going to sit in the middle of the end zone. 140. Big hug going up right away. Intended receiver Jay Clark. This one's going a little far. Clark makes the grab. Observer calls him in the end zone.
And Clark got nasty on this catch. And this is an extremely difficult play. 1, you've got a defender right there. 2, you've got to catch the disc. And 3, you've got to drag your feet. An incredible play by Clark. Let's take a look at this. You're going to see the contact come. He goes up, makes the grab, and then, ooh, I don't know if he was in on that one. We had one observer rule him out. The other observer ruled him in.
All right, yeah, it actually looked like his toe did hit the line there. That is out of bounds.
You know, regardless, in or out, that's an incredible athletic play.
We would like to extend a sincere thank you to those who have made the inaugural U.S. Open Championships a success. USA Ultimate would like to thank the Colorado Springs Sports Corporation, the Ellen Lamar Foundation, the Colorado Springs Ultimate Network, and of course, the City of Colorado Springs for
5-0 with the pull. That one will go out of bounds. Way up on the field.
Spiva with the old outside out backhand. Classic.
Bravo will receive that disc. Looks like ahead of the brick mark. Just a few yards past the brick mark here. Durst with the disc. Ream. As Westbrook. The Bravo handlers working together back and forth very quickly. Small gainers on the sidelines, swinging it back easily.
You know, my favorite player to watch so far this game has actually been Ream. He seems to be open every time. He's got really technical cuts, and he's fast. He's number 3 out there with the dreadlocks, Ream.
Foul will be called on that catch. Looks like Krug believed there was a strip. Observer will rule there was a foul. Krug will maintain possession. Westbrook continuing swing around. Durst back to the center of the field. It's Jimmy Mickle with the disc. He swings looking too easy. Lots of give and goes from Bravo here. Westbrook with the hammer. And that's Josh Ackley with the grab for Johnny Bravo. Score is 7-6. Bravo over Chain.
And the difference so far in the game to me is that Bravo's goals look so much easier than Chain's. Chain's had to come up with some really impressive grabs in the back of the end zone, whereas Bravo is breaking the mark, throwing hammers over the top for easy goals. And
I agree, Rio, but at the same time, that is Chain's bread and butter. They are so good at that hucking game, and if they can just keep on rolling, Bravo hasn't really had a chance to stop that. Now, that kind of play does take a lot of energy and a lot of sort of athleticism to throw yourself at the disc time and time again, and it's going to be those same players, the Nick Lance, the Jay Clark, who are going to be making those plays. It's very hard to maintain throughout a full game against such a tough opponent like Johnny Bravo.
yeah, and I think you're right. When they're hitting, they're impossible to stop. But I think the key to me is that on a break throw, there's almost zero chance that you're going to get a D on a break throw, just because the defender is on the opposite side. You know, looking at some of these hucks, there's actually been at least an opportunity for the defender to make a play, whereas on these hammers, on the break throws, on the give and goes, there's really no opportunity for a turnover to be made unless it's a miscue.
Bravo defense getting down quickly, forcing Chain back into their own end zone. Sneeder throwing his body in that lane, really stopping those throws. Juzak on the mark now. You can tell Chain here is looking for that opportunity for the deep shot. Nick Lance with the disc. He's going to blade around to Spears. Low throw, it's going to be a little high. Nick Lance reels that one in. Simpson holsters the huck now. Lance on the run. Poole. And now Lance again. Foul called. It's David Belsheim on the mark for Johnny Bravo. Different sort of play here from Chain. They're moving it a lot better between themselves than they have in previous points, and they're working very, very quickly. Nick Lance has taken a knee here. So it doesn't look like he's going to take an injury substitution. It looks like he got hit in the chin. Disc will come in on 0. Swanson trapped on the sideline now. It's going to put one up to the end zone. That'll go out the back. Simpson was there, but couldn't grab it before it went out.
No, and give credit to the Bravo defense. They adjusted something during that point to not allow Shane to throw the hook early in the point. Shane has yet to really work their offense on their end zone side of the field, and they got down to about that 20 or 30 yard mark. There was no deep space. Bravo stayed underneath and forced what I like to call a coverage sack by the offense.
Taking a page out of Chain Lightning's book, Bravo's going to huck one deep to Hilke Sneeder. He's going to immediately call a timeout. It's a good call there. Just sort of readjust what your offense is going to do at this point. You're about 20 yards outside of the end zone. It's a good opportunity with everyone behind you to just take a breather.
Yeah, in a clean game like we've seen so far, it's been relatively clean. Not a lot of turnovers. You really have to value every possession, and at the same time, value every timeout. You know, it's not a bad idea to burn a timeout here and make sure you get exactly the look you want, as offensive possessions for your D-line are at a premium.
Especially at this point, Bravo's up one. We do have halftime at 8 points. Each team does get 2 timeouts per half. There's really no reason to save a timeout for a later point. Sneeder will pick up in the middle of the field. Looks like we'll have Spiva marking up on Sneeder.
This is kind of that mid-range part of the field where there's not a lot of deep space, but you're not quite into your end zone offense. Looks like Bravo's setting up with 2 receivers on the near sideline and ISO in the middle of the field. And it looks like another receiver on the far side of the field, horizontal to the cutter in the middle.
Morrissey dishing back out. It's McShane. Looking for help. He's going to put a low one to Sneeder. Sneeder is going to just dish it into Juzak, and the D-line will break to take half. That's 8-6. Johnny Bravo taking half over Chain Lightning.
And again, it's Johnny Bravo making their goals look easy. That was a relatively easy backhand pass for not a lot of yards, but when you're throwing easy passes, you're going to get easy goals, and you're not even putting a lot of effort into it. That's going to set up your D-line to get hungry and make big plays, not only on the discs that are in the air, but just in your matchups downfield, and that's what we saw in that last point. Johnny Bravo defense able to lock down on their men, force the difficult throw by Chain, generated a turn, then they take their time, they complete their huck, call timeout, and end up with an easy goal to take half. So 8-6, Johnny Bravo in the lead over Chain Lightning. We're here in the finals of the U.S. Open 2012. Maya Ziv and I'm Mario O'Brien. We'll be back with the second half.
And we're back for the second half of the Open Final here at the U.S. Open in Colorado Springs. I'm Maya Ziv here with Mario O'Brien. Our score at half was 8-6. Johnny Bravo up on Chain Lightning. Simpson will field the pull. Swanson. Poole.
Oh my god. I thought it was for me.
Oh, no. All right, I'm still gonna eat it.
Hilke Sneeder on the mark for Bravo. Dish back out to Swanson. Clark with the disc. Finds Lance up the line. Lance faking the deep shot. We'll put instead a nice inside break. Jay Clark will snag that one, but there's a call on the field. Jay Clark with no mark right away. Juzak running to catch up. Spiva.
This is that spot on the field where Chain needs to prove if they can still generate a goal. There's no deep space for the huck, and now the defenders are able to just sit underneath.
Wooten. Swanson. Lance again. It's like there was a pick called, but the disc will stay with Lance. Poole swings back to Lance in the middle of the field. Another pick called. Lance with the hammer. Back corner. Jay Clark with another goal for Chain Lightning. 8-7. Now, Mario, I think those picks are actually very indicative of the kind of trouble that a team like Chain might have in such an area close to the end zone where they're used to hucking it. Now that they have to set up a clean offense, they're sort of unsure of themselves. Picks usually happen primarily when there's a group of people in the center of the field and people on offense are trying to run through that group. It basically stems from being uncertain about where to go.
Yeah, and I think it, as I'm watching this, if I'm other teams watching this game, I'm thinking if I can get Chain down to that area of the field, if I can prevent a huck from happening, they're not quite as comfortable working in that area. Of course, when you've got Nick Lance on the field, being able to drop hammers on dimes, it makes it a little bit harder. But if I'm a betting man and I have to play against Chain, I'd rather have them trying to grind for that type of goal than allowing them to shoot threes all day.
Ackley for Bravo. Ream again. Oh, just out of the hands of Jimmy Mickle. 140 with the disc for Chain now. Looking for help. .140 tips the disc. You can't grab it. Right away, we've got a huck from Paget. Foul will be called, but Ackley will reel it in and put it towards that front corner of the end zone to Jackson Clore.
Josh Ackley maintains his composure, maintains his concentration, and comes up with the tipped disc and then throws an easy backhand break for the goal. Bravo 9, Chain Lightning 7.
And good work from Paget there, putting a throw through the foul that was actually catchable so that Ackley could make a play on it.
Yeah, we've really seen that happen a lot today with the Bravo handlers just reaching through the mark with their backhands.
Score is 9-7, Bravo over Chain.
Bravo was really actually quite lucky to get that disc back. That was one of their first miscues that we've seen from their O-line all day, just on a throw that sort of popped up over Mickle's head. And then we're lucky enough to get it back just on a dump miscue by Chain.
Jimmy Mickle getting set to pull. Huge OI pull. Those kinds of pulls are just way too hard to catch. Swanson, Lance. Simpson wide open on the sideline. Good throw from Nick Lance, seeing him there. Spiva. Nick Lance again. Simpson. Back to Lance. Lance putting one deep. Jay Clark sprinting to the end zone. And he brings that one down easily. Excellent put from Nick Lance. There's that Chain Lightning offense. 9-8, Bravo leads.
And now we see Nick Lance actually step to the D-line for Chain. You know, every once in a while, not every point, but you want to throw in a line that you really call it a break line. You throw in some of your stars, maybe from your O-line, throw them on the D-line to really generate a break, generate some momentum before it gets too late in the game. And I think that's what they're thinking here, throwing Nick Lance on the D-line.
On the flip side for Bravo, we've seen Jimmy Mickle play both O and D. He's clearly a huge player for them in this game. Probably will be all season.
Yeah, and Mickle just gives you so many options. He's so good in the air, but actually on Mama Bird, his college team that he still has a couple years of eligibility left, he actually plays handler. So he's such a versatile player, and he's got so much experience that you can put him anywhere on the field. Bravo seems to use him more as a cutter, whereas on Mama Bird he's more of a handler. But that just opens up the field when you've got a cutter who's comfortable handling. It's tough to know what to do with him as a defender.
We'll have Westbrook take the disc to the brick mark. That's Ackley with the disc again. Been hearing that name a lot this game. Westbrook again. A wide open Clure on the sideline. Mickle. Krug. Mickle. Mickle looking like he was trying to step around the mark. Calls a foul on the contact. Mickle with the floaty around. And Bravo works it in for yet another. Looks like there might be a call on the field.
Here we saw Richter once again reach through with that backhand. Looks like the Chain defender is actually calling an offensive foul. The Chain defender saying that he actually set up his mark and that Josh Ackley actually pivoted through his legal mark to make that backhand break throw. And that's something that we've seen Ackley do all game. And here we're going to see the observer rule that there was actually no foul committed by the offense and Ackley able to throw that backhand break for the goal.
Now that kind of argument is always tough to call an offensive foul on the mark. Most of the times the mark is actually moving. They were perhaps stepping back while someone pivoted into them. It's much more likely for the foul to have occurred by the defense on the offense. I've actually personally never seen an offensive foul on the mark upheld.
Wind picking up a little bit. This will be a downwind pull for Bravo. Gotta think Chain Lightning's gonna go right back to the well with the deep throw here.
Although traveling upwind does make it slightly harder. The wind isn't so strong that it would affect the throws, but if it does continue to pick up here, it could be more challenging. Spiva fielding that pull. Swanson. Lance. Lance with some huge fakes.
Bravo actually making an adjustment here in their matchup with Lance. They've actually put Hilke Sneeder on Lance to disrupt his throwing motion. A lot of times if you're a thrower, a big mark is really going to make you think twice about throwing those break throws.
Wooten, Simpson, Poole. Chain really working the disc under effectively here. Nice breakup line for Swanson, putting one to the end zone. And Simpson is going to bring that down over the defense. That was impressive offense from Chain. You know, they didn't really force any of those throws. They also didn't force the deep shot. They worked it really effectively up through the middle of the field. 10-9, Bravo over Chain.
You know, even though you've got an advantage putting someone like Hilke Sneeder on Nick Lance, there's also a disadvantage when Lance decides to go downfield and cut. Lance is much quicker in terms of changing direction than Sneeder, and that time he was actually able to generate a couple cuts that gained them yards and eventually led to that strike there from Swanson.
And maybe the trick is not to put the big mark on someone like Lance, who will probably beat him downfield, but instead to keep your big guys downfield so that they can make plays on those floaty discs. .140 to pull for Chain.
Joel Wooten stepping back on the line for Chain. He hasn't been playing too much. Chain Lightning coming out in some junk.
Looks like Chain's coming out in kind of a poachy style defense here. They're not so tight. Almost encouraging the Bravo handlers to work it around, and they're effectively shutting down the middle of the field. Good cut from Westbrook there.
Now Chain makes the transition to man defense.
Ackley putting one deep. Got Mickle set to make a play, and Mickle will have his hand on that one.
Now, Spiva and Mickle, this will be a fun conversation. I really think actually Spiva came down with the disc a bit before Mickle got his hand on it.
I agree. He was definitely in position, had his hand on the disc first. Mickle seemed to grab it as they were coming down. Spiva definitely ripped it out of his hand at the end there. We'll see what the observers rule.
It's like the observers are actually going to rule that Mickle got to the disc first. You can see Spiva had position. This one's going to stay Bravo.
Crowd does not like that ruling. And Mickle will call a timeout.
Tough break there for Chain. They got their opportunity to make a play. Spiva went up and did make a play. You know, that's a tough one if you're the observer.
Right, the instinct is that, you know, if there is a tie, if the offense and defense catch it at the same time, the disc does go to the offense. But in that instance, I think from the position the observer was in, it was relatively clear that Spiva's definitely in position, had his hand on the disc first. Mickle did touch it, but it definitely looked like it should have been a turnover. We'll see what Bravo does for an end zone play here.
And this position to defend for Chain is absolutely impossible. Or it feels impossible, at least, knowing what Bravo's been able to do in their ability to break the mark. Mickle's really long. He's an experienced handler. Tough spot here for Chain.
Looks like Spiva's taking a step off on the mark there. Give him a few extra inches to make a play. So it looks like Bravo's initial play sort of crumbled there.